is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about TRKA. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Make your own decisions. But let's look at some things now that all of this has come out. Some of you guys have been like, TRKA, make a video on TRKA, get in. And I'll be honest, I was a little not on board at the very beginning whenever I was looking at it around 30 cents, and then I almost got in at like 52 cents, and I'm like, man, I don't know, I'm just I'm hesitant, and then I just watched it keep running and running and running. So let's talk about where we are, let's talk about what went down today, and let's talk about why I now have interest, and I do have a position in it now, full disclosure. Let's look at some of these things real quick. We'll look at the news that came out, we'll look at the charts, we'll look at the ortex, and go from there. So basically we have, over the 6-month transition period, it says that these are some of the highlights. Successive record revenue of approximately 187.9 million. Revenue increased 1125, so 1,125% over the comparative prior year period. Adjusted EBITDA, 5 million. Continued strong revenue growth in new revenue streams. Growing demand for performance solutions with home improvement, residential services, legal and professional service sectors. Successful completion of restructuring of operations and cost optimizations following the acquisition of Converge. So these were a lot of things that were going around Twitter, going around the internet, Reddit, possibly even YouTube. There's some smart people out there that can kind of figure out some of these things ahead of time, but you just never know what to fully trust or where to put it until you see it come out in an official filing. And I saw these numbers. So along with today, what went down is, we had Jay Powell speaking. The markets were getting a little bit bearish. So that was one. Number two, I think a lot of people had the dollar figure in mind, if they were in early or even if they weren't in super early. That dollar is always a psychological level. So I think we could have seen some people getting out at that point. We could have seen some shorting coming in because they know too that that's a psychological level, possibly wanting to protect that level. So a lot of pressure came in at that point. News also dropped. It takes a little bit of time for algorithms to flash through and make their decision as to which way or what way they want to take things. But now that we have it in proof, and now that I had a second chance, I actually caught down here in this dip somewhere around the upper 50 range. And like I said, I was hesitant to play there the first time, but now that I see everything in concrete fashion, it gives me a little bit of confidence that, hey, you know what, with the market cap the way that it is, I think that there might be a play here. And I could be wrong, but we got a market cap of right now like 19.31 million. Smaller float, as far as I know, 31.93 million as far as the free float goes. I think I'm going to take that chance. So what could have happened, right? I mean, if you're up, who knows, 500, 1,000%, if you got in really early on this thing, people could have taken a small portion off of the table, made their position free, could have added to the selling pressure. Some people could have got out completely and just been like, hey man, I got what I came for. But with those numbers, it gives me positive reinforcement that, hey, I think if I got in around here, it's at least worth a try. I'm going to use a stop loss, whether it be mental or set in stone, and I'll give you some levels that I'll be watching for. But really, I like that, we got that panic sell-off plus Jay Powell sell-off plus people that made absolute killings here. Congratulations, sell-off. And so now it's just going to take a little bit of time to recalibrate what it wants to do, where it wants to go. The thesis, right, of either the longs, they're going to rethink their thesis, or the shorts are also going to be probably rethinking their thesis at this moment. So going to take just a little bit of time, let the dust settle from this massive pullback that it had. A lot of times I don't like to catch things on the downside because sometimes I think, okay, I missed the run, I missed the play. I think it's over, but this one I caught on the downside because I saw the positive reinforcement that would make me think, I don't know if this thing's quite over. I don't know if this thing's done. We played GNS from 50 cents and made an absolute killing on GNS. So if this could repeat some sort of GNS fashion, I know some people are comparing it to like a GME fashion. I don't know. I'm not a hype page, but I just like to play what logically makes sense to me. And to me, I said, you know what? I'm going to take this shot. So we did lose the trend line just barely, but like I said, this was probably panic, lots of panic and commotion going on, and we're going to see how it settles down. It's at 60 cents right now. So if it can ride this trend line back up, our first breakout is going to be 65 cents, 65.09, somewhere in that vicinity. We want to see it break and hold, not on the 1 minute candle. Use something longer. I mean, depending on if you're scalping or if you're in it for a longer period of time, pick your time frames that you want to see it hold. I would at least like to see a breakout, retest, and push on a 5 minute candle at the very least, but it could be a much longer one. A lot of people have already probably used a lot of their powder, and they could be in the play, so now we're looking for those second comings like myself that said, hey man, I missed it the first go round, and maybe they want to inject some money into trka and continue the bullish pattern that it's been on. We have a pretty solid base down here around our point of control at 52.85, and we have a fib line at 54.49. So could there realistically be another retest? There could be, but right now it looks like it's trying to make its climb back up. So I'm watching the trend line more closely in this next fib line here. Protect yourself to the downside in this one because we don't know what's going to happen. We never know exactly what's going to happen. So 54.49, 43.89. If it wants to continue to make its way down, it looks like it's coming down to retest this fib line that I was just talking about, thinking, hey, we're probably going to get a second test. We're probably going to see point of control tested. So from that point, see how it responds at 43.89. Again, see how it responds. We have another safety net trend line that's down here around, call it 32 to 35 cents, depending on if and when and where it wants to hit there. So keep a close eye on that as well. We just have to take it step by step. Like I said, just let everything kind of cool off. Let people make their educated decisions as to which way they still think this should go, if they still have confidence and faith in the play. If this scared a lot of people, I could totally understand and see that. If this gave people the confidence that, hey, you know what, I didn't get my full position, and maybe they want a better, DCA up or down, whatever they're doing at this point, maybe we'll see that, but we are seeing the second test there. So like I said, be watching for a pullback to 382 if this does not hold, which would be 43.89. And then we'll take it one step at a time from there. On the ortex, it's the best that we have to work with, right? It's not gold. It just is what it is, and we use it for what we need to. So cost to borrow average coming in at 123.76%. We have a pretty considerable short interest on this one for the report that just came out. I think some of these are going to be making a decision, hopefully. I don't know how they could continue to think that they are right in their bearish thesis, but we never know. So 76.65% live short interest of the free float. It was estimating that did come down just a little bit. This is just reported, so it doesn't mean that is all there is. It doesn't mean that they're not switching around somehow in their reporting or doing what they want with it. That's 22.89 million live short interest. Given the size of the free float, that's pretty drastic. And especially with the news that came out with confirmed news from trka. Utilization saying it's not maxed out. I don't know how in the world it could possibly not be maxed out. Maybe we'll see some of the bigger players start taking some of those shares back. They might not be as willing to loan them out now that we have good news. So we might see this utilization max out now at 100%. And the days to cover the volume is absolutely insane. So It's not going to take a whole long time. We know that if they want to cover, they can cover, and we've seen it in so many tickers. So I don't pay a whole lot of time, 2 days to cover if you're new to the channel. But just wanted to pop in here and show you what I'm looking at. Ultimately, what are we looking at to the upside? Let's talk upside, because we don't only want to talk downside. Like I said, if it wants to do a GNS style, I mean, we know that one hit what, $5-7 pretty consistently whenever it got its legs under it and just started running. So if we can make some return back up to the upside, here's the numbers we're working through: 54.49, 65.09, 80.18, and then ultimately take out that dollar that kind of let us down the first time. And then from there, I mean, we're running back to the 1618 and the 2618. So $1.55 and $2.45. Do I think it could keep going with the numbers that it had produced? I think there's a good possibility, as long as we don't see any kind of offerings or anything, come in to play. As long as they let it continue to be a normal move to the upside, I think there's a lot of potential to the upside. But again, this could have scared people, so there might be a lot of risk to the downside as well. So make your own educated decision. I just wanted to come out with a video. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you have a great day in the markets. I will catch you in the next one. You're always welcome to subscribe or like the channel so that you don't miss any of the updates on any of the tickers we talk about. As always, stay golden, people, and may your accounts stay green.